Hi, I'm Debbie Harbeck, and I'm a certified life coach working with women in midlife and through the menopause transition. So each week, I'll be sharing the latest information, inspiration, and generate some momentum so you can move forward and feel more in control of your changing midlife body and your life. Let's go. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. I am sorry if my voice sounds a little off today. I have been sick for the past week, and hopefully you've been well. It's cold season here, so I caught a little cold from my baby niece, which I knew going in there that could be a possibility, but I really love spending time with her. So here I am, recovering from a head cold, but feeling much better today. Today, I'm in the middle of my 21-day Fuel Your Midlife Body Challenge. And what we're talking about on the podcast relates directly to that. So, on my last episode, we focused on fiber, which is an essential nutrient that we often don't eat enough of in midlife. And today, I'm talking about another essential nutrient that we don't probably eat enough of, and that is protein. Especially if you feel like your energy is different these days, or you feel like your recovery is slower, like when you get sick or after working out at the gym, or maybe your body feels more sensitive, more reactive. Sometimes it even feels more fragile. For about a decade, I have to say that I was strictly vegetarian. And although it is possible to get enough protein as a vegetarian, it can be more challenging because obviously your options are more limited. So I realized about 3 years ago that my body was feeling more sore and I was feeling more tired. I was having trouble sleeping. And although I was in perimenopause, and these are symptoms of perimenopause, I also realized I wasn't focused on getting enough protein each day. So on many days, I was falling short of what's considered even the minimum for women in midlife. And I'll get into what that is in a moment. So what I did, I decided to start including fish. So for a while, I was doing fish and seafood in addition to my vegetarian diet. And then I just started adding in chicken and pork back into my diet. And so that's why I'm here today to talk about why protein does become more essential in midlife, how much you actually do need, how to tell if you're not getting enough, and why it's not just about eating food that matters. So, for many of us, knowing that we need more protein, knowing how to incorporate it, and especially I'll say incorporating it earlier into the day, because a lot of times we think of protein at supper, but we don't think about it, especially at breakfast. It can start making things better for us when we can spread it out through the day. So, when we are in our 40s, women kind of naturally begin losing muscle. And there's a stark decline as we go through perimenopause of muscle mass on our bodies. And of course, muscle isn't just about that toned look that you have, but muscle helps regulate your blood sugar. It helps support your bone density. It drives your metabolism. It protects your joints, and it helps you feel strong and capable in your body. It also helps prevent you from overeating and gaining extra fat, which I know a lot of us don't want right now. So, as I mentioned before, as you age, you do begin to lose muscle. But what also happens is that your body becomes less efficient at using protein. So that means the amount of protein that might have worked for you back in your 30s isn't enough anymore. So if you're eating the same way you always have, or maybe you're even eating less because you want to lose weight, your body may quietly be breaking down muscle without you realizing it. And protein is the raw material that your body needs to preserve muscle, to build strength, to stabilize blood sugar, and to support your energy and focus. So let's talk about how much you really need in midlife. The standard recommendation, which you might have heard, is about 0.8 of a gram to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. That's actually not the optimal amount. That's just the minimum required to prevent deficiency. That amount isn't designed to support your muscle, your metabolism, or your hormonal changes in midlife. So research consistently has shown that women in perimenopause and menopause do better closer to 1.2 or 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. That's about, if you're into pounds of body weight, that's about 0.6 to zero point 0.9 grams per pound of body weight. So for example, if you're a 150-pound woman, which means you're 68 kilograms, thereabouts, you need between 90 grams and 135 grams of protein a day. So in real life, what that looks like is about 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. So we want to spread it across the day. And that doesn't mean you don't have protein in your snacks. That's just added bonuses there. You can also think of a protein serving as the size and thickness of your palm. And as women in midlife, we need 3 to 6 servings a day. And I'd say generally towards these 6 servings a day, especially if you want to remain active as you go through this time. As I mentioned before, this matters because your body can only use so much protein at once for muscle repair and building, and it can only synthesize so much these days. It's not using all the protein that you take in. If you're not getting enough protein, it doesn't always look like you're hungry all the time. Here's some ways to know that maybe you aren't getting enough protein. So it can look like fatigue or insomnia. You can feel maybe weak in your muscles, or that your body is softer or less resilient than it was. It might show up as strong cravings in the afternoon or evening, especially if you're reserving more of your protein for the end of the day. It can actually bring down your mood. And it can also have you recovering more slowly after workouts, and it can even cause your hair to thin and your nails to become brittle. And this is because the building blocks of protein, which are amino acids, which you might remember if you're not into science, but you might remember from science class, these are the key components in not only muscle, but also the neurotransmitters in your body, like things serotonin, dopamine, and melatonin. That's why it's important. That's why not only are your muscles affected, but your mood is affected. You might feel more fatigued. You might feel more weak. It's because of these neurotransmitters. So where do you actually get enough protein without having to overthink it and spend so much of your day planning it? Really high quality sources of protein include things like eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, beef, fish, seafood. And if you want more plant-based protein, we're talking things like tofu and tempeh and edamame and lentils and beans and quinoa. And for many women in midlife, protein powders have also become a practical tool. It's not a failure if you have to go to protein powders. They can actually help you if you're feeling rushed in the morning. They can help bridge that gap, especially if you go towards protein powders that aren't sweetened. That's what I would suggest. And consistency, of course, matters always more than perfection. So let's talk about protein timing, especially around exercise. So you might have heard that there's something called the anabolic window. And this is the window within which protein should be consumed after a workout, because that's when it's most useful. And the good news is that it's not nearly as stressful as fitness culture once made it sound. That said, protein is most beneficial within about 30 to 90 minutes after strength training, when your muscles are more sensitive to amino acids and ready to repair and rebuild. But it can go beyond that and still be beneficial. But zooming out, total daily protein matters more than perfect timing. So make sure you're getting enough during your entire day and spreading it out as much as possible. And this brings up something really important, is that protein alone does not build muscle. Muscle is built when protein and resistance training work together. So strength training sends a signal, we need this muscle, and protein supplies the building blocks to make that happen. So without resistance training, your body has no reason to hold on to muscle, no matter how much protein you eat. This is why women who combine enough protein with consistent strength training often feel stronger, more energized, and notice changes in their body composition without extreme dieting. You need the exercise to do that. And I promise, because this is a worry of so many women that I talk to, that lifting weights will not make you bulky. Our hormone levels do not support that outcome. So if midlife feels harder in your body than it should, so if you have more fatigue, more aches, more struggle with weight or energy, protein is often the missing foundation. And of course, it's not a magic solution. It's just a powerful starting point for you. And of course, when you feel you're fueling your body properly and you're training your body with intention, your body stops working against you and it starts working with you again. And that's what I think real strength in midlife looks like. So I hope you found this episode on protein useful. If you have any questions about protein, or you want to find out how to incorporate more into your day, or you want to be more specific to your body, you can always get in touch with me. You can book a free call with me and we can chat about it. I would love to hear from you. So in the meantime, that is our episode. I will be back with a fresh new episode next week. Have a great day and bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Midlife Momentum Podcast. If you want to learn more about working with me, come visit me at DebbieHarbeckCoaching.com. That's Debbie, I-E, Harbeck with a C, coaching.com. See you next week.